Your story doesn't begin in a majestic forest. It begins in a rickety nest made of leaves, twigs, and whatever duct tape you could scavenge from the human world. The wind shakes your home like a cocktail mixer, and you cling to your siblings for dear life. You are not born into safety, power, or greatness. You were born a squirrel. And life, from this moment on, is going to be a blur of panic, mistakes, and nuts you will never see again. Let's start with your greatest curse, energy. You are born with the metabolism of a toddler who just mainlined espresso. You cannot sit still. You twitch, you dash, you leap. You spend your entire life vibrating at a frequency that could power a small city. You don't walk from one branch to another. You launch yourself at Mach 2 and hope for the best. Your entire existence is an endless loop of run, leap, forget why you ran, repeat. And oh, the trees. You are supposed to be the master of them, a furry acrobat blessed by evolution with sharp claws and perfect balance. Except your brain wasn't invited to the party. You leap from one branch to another, but misjudge the distance. Half your life is majestic flight, the other half is awkward belly flops into bushes. Humans watch from below, laughing, calling you nature's parkour fail video. You don't stick the landing. You never stick the landing. Let's talk about food. You love nuts, acorns, walnuts, peanuts, anything that vaguely resembles an edible sphere. You collect them with manic devotion. You bury them everywhere, under trees, in gardens, inside potted plants on balconies. You are a hoarder, a nut stockbroker. You scatter your portfolio across the landscape. But here's the catch. You forget where you buried most of them. Scientists estimate squirrels forget up to 70% of their caches. Which means you are basically unpaid landscapers, reforesting the planet by accident. Congratulations, you're too dumb to feed yourself but smart enough to plant an oak empire for future generations. And humans, they don't see you as noble foresters. They see you as pests. You chew wires, you raid bird feeders, you gnaw holes in attics. You are the reason homeowners mutter swear words under their breath while buying squirrel-proof contraptions at the hardware store. Your life mission to raid birdseed is met with grease poles, spinning feeders, and YouTube channels dedicated to humiliating you. Entire engineering careers exist just to defeat you, and they're winning. Then there are the predators. Hawks circle above, waiting for you to slip. Cats lurk below, tails twitching with anticipation. Even cars become your mortal enemy. The road, for you, is not a crossing. It is a gladiator arena. You dash halfway, freeze, panic, dash back, freeze again. You perform interpretive dance routines in front of traffic, and drivers everywhere curse your indecisive little soul. For every squirrel that makes it across the asphalt, another becomes part of the roadside mural collection. Winter, don't even get me started. Bears hibernate. Humans crank up the heat. What's your grand winter strategy? You rely on the 30% of nuts you actually remember burying. Except by then, they're moldy, frozen solid, or already stolen by your squirrel neighbors. Winter is a festival of disappointment. You shiver in your leafy nest, questioning every life decision that led you here. And let's not forget your rivals, other squirrels. You may look cute and fluffy to humans, but to each other, you're miniature gladiators. You chase, you bite, you scream like malfunctioning car alarms. You battle for territory, mates, and especially nuts. A fight between squirrels isn't majestic. It's two rodents spiraling up a tree, shrieking like banshees, until one falls dramatically into a pile of leaves. Oh, and then there's mating season. It's not graceful, it's chaos. The female runs, a parade of desperate males follows, the entire chase looking less like romance and more like a Benny Hill sketch. Eventually, one exhausted male succeeds, but not because of charm, because everyone else gave up. Love is not in the air. Screeching and panting are. And as if nature's challenges weren't enough, you're also the star of endless human jokes. People film you falling out of bird feeders, or chasing your tail, or trying to climb glass doors. You don't get majestic documentaries narrated by David Attenborough. You get TikToks captioned, "Squirrel.x has stopped working." Your legacy is not dignity. It is memes. But perhaps the cruelest fate is that you are everywhere. Unlike exotic animals, you don't inspire awe. You're not special. You're background noise. The wallpaper of suburban life. People glance at you, shrug, and move on. The only time they care is when you fry a power line by chewing it, plunging an entire neighborhood into darkness. And then your story ends not as a noble creature of the wild, but as a charred footnote on the evening news. At your peak, you might be remembered by a local kid who saw you leap dramatically across a power line. Maybe they'll call you the brave one. Maybe they'll draw you in crayon. But odds are, you'll be forgotten by tomorrow, just another twitchy shadow on the lawn. And in the end, your life fades not with a bang, but with a crunch. Maybe it's under a car tire, maybe it's in the talons of a hawk, maybe it's just starvation in the cold of winter. Whatever the cause, the result is the same. You, a creature of limitless energy and zero wisdom, will always fall victim to the game of survival. You were born with the tail of a feather duster, the brain of a distracted child, and the attention span of a TikTok feed. You are the parkour fail star of the animal kingdom. You are not feared. You are not admired. You are simply born doomed.